Welcome to the All Things Year 6 podcast, where we unravel the maze that is Year 6 and the all-important transition to Year 7. My name is Ty Aina, and in today's episode, I'll be discussing the importance of encouraging your child to become an independent learner. I'll be offering tips and suggestions as to what you can do to support your child on this very important journey to independence. But before I get started, and with the new school year firmly upon us, let me inspire you with a truly heartwarming story. Now, August is traditionally results season. A-level and GCSE students around the country receive their examination results. Well, on Thursday, the 25th of August, it was the turn of GCSE students. I tuned in to the early morning broadcast from schools around the country, and oh my goodness, I'm just bursting with pride and just humbled by this story. A gentleman by the name of Derek Skipper, 92 years of age, yes, you heard me, 92 years old, agreed to open his examination result live on air. So Derek had taken the GCSE Foundation Maths exams back in June. So this would have consisted of 3 papers. And Derek revealed live on air that he had achieved the highest grade possible on the GCSE Foundation Maths exam. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm like a Cheshire cat sitting here grinning. I feel like, you know, it's okay to be on first name terms with Derek because I've read his story so many times, and every single time it just gladdens my heart. 92 years old. And what's the moral of this story? Simply, you are never too old to learn. So the warmest of congratulations to Derek Skipper. Back to today's episode, which is all about encouraging your child to become an independent learner, an independent individual. Why do they need to become independent? Let me paint a picture for you. At primary school, particularly in Year 6, I often think of students as big fish in a small pond. When they move to Year 7 and secondary school, they suddenly become small fish in a much larger pond. A secondary school environment can, for some Year 7s, feel as vast as a university campus. Students move from a primary school that perhaps has only 300 or 400 students to a secondary school that has perhaps 1,800 students or more. They move from an environment where they have one class teacher who delivers most, if not all, the teaching and learning in the curriculum subjects. The teaching and learning usually takes place in one classroom. If it's an open plan setup, it's still a familiar area. In secondary school, however, your child will have to get used to perhaps moving from one side of the building to another, perhaps from one building to a different building. They're going to have to very quickly get used to having different teachers for different subjects. So they're going to have to adapt to different teaching styles, to different approaches to behaviour management. Secondary school, particularly, the early days, particularly, the first half term, the first term, can be overwhelming for many students. The one way you can perhaps ensure you can't, of course, take away any of the problems or the challenges that your child might encounter on a daily basis at school. But what you want to do is set them up so that they're better able to cope with them. And the best way you can do this is by promoting that independence. So how do you promote independence? How do you get your child to become more independent? The first thing is thinking about tasks that your child can do at home. So I'm going to split these tasks into two areas. I want us to think about household tasks and chores that your child can start doing or continue to do if they're already doing them. And I'm also going to think about tasks and chores related to school, because after all, as I said, they spend a vast amount of time at school each week. So let's think about household chores. There are probably things that you do for your child that they could quite easily do for themselves. The thing is, as parents, we don't like to think of our, children as struggling. We don't like them to have consequences to actions if we can avoid it. And so we tend to do things for them that they can perfectly do well themselves. One of the reasons might be just simply that we can do those things quicker. A second reason is that if we do it, then that task is done the way we want it to be done. And so, rather than letting our child do it, only to have to do it again, we'll do it ourselves. But we're actually denying them the opportunity to grow. And so when you think about household chores, of course, the chores have to be age appropriate. So what I mean is, you're not necessarily going to ask your 3-year-old or your 4-year-old to take out the wheelie bins on a Thursday or Friday. But thinking about students in year 6, there are a lot of household chores that they can actually take responsibility for. So, for example, sorting out clean laundry and taking the laundry to individual rooms. That's a really simple and easy task. Setting the table for dinner or clearing the table once dinner is over. Stacking the dishwasher, so putting the dishes into the dishwasher. You might even go further and show them how to use the dishwasher, how to load the tablet, the washing tablet or powder, and to actually operate the dishwasher. It might be that you, ask your child that, look, when I arrive with the week's shopping, I'd like you to come and meet me at the car and help me to carry the shopping into the house. It might be, and you're probably already doing this, simple things like making their beds, tidying their rooms. So there are a lot of things that you can ask your year 6 to be doing at home that will encourage that independence. And once you've asked them to do it, you really have to sit back and just let them go with it. What about school chores? The fact is, after the first week or so at school, your child is going to know their weekly routine at school. They're going to know which days they have PE and so need to take in their PE kit. Give them ownership of that. A lot of schools have a system whereby children take their PE kit in at the beginning of each half term, the kits stay at school and they are sent home at half term to be washed and brought back again. Give your year 6 the responsibility for making sure that happens. If your child plays a musical instrument and has lessons at school, and so perhaps, they have a violin lesson on a Tuesday, give them the responsibility for making sure that their violin is in its case and it's by the front door, ready to grab on Tuesday morning. If they have football on a Wednesday, Well, it's their responsibility to make sure that their football boots are clean, ready for that extracurricular activity on the Wednesday. Shin pads, football kit, packed and good to go. Again, why not just leave the packed bag by the front door? If your child has dance, again, they know the day of the week that the dance lesson takes place. Be prepared. Pack your dance uniform and anything else you need. Put it in your dance bag. Put it by the front door. It's good to go. It's the same with homework. After the first week or two, they'll know the routine. Homework is given on a Monday, it needs to go back on a Friday. Let them take ownership of that. Let them. The number of times as a teacher, I can't count the number of times in my career that I've had conversations with children that go something like this. My mum didn't give me my homework. She forgot to put my homework in my bag. Oh gosh, my mum forgot to give me my violin. She knows I have violin lessons on a Tuesday, but she forgot to give me my violin. Dad forgot to pack my lunch. I don't have any lunch today. I'm packed lunch, and he knows I'm packed lunch, but I don't have any lunch today. Do you know what my response has always been? It wasn't your mum's homework. It wasn't your dad's homework. It wasn't your mum's packed lunch. You are the one that's going to have packed lunch. It wasn't your mum or your dad's responsibility to ensure that your packed lunch is in school. It's not your mum or dad who I gave the homework to. So it's not their homework, it's your homework. You have responsibility for making sure your homework is done and brought back to school in time. You know, the fact that, you know, you might be thinking, well, if I don't want my child to get into trouble with the class teacher. The reality is, you know, the 5 minutes that they might spend missing playtime is a small payoff for them remembering to do, you know, that particular chore or task in the future. It really is in the grand scheme of things. So it's really important, perhaps, you know, with the new school year starting, as I said, it's, you know, these are things that you're probably already doing, but perhaps review what you already have in place. Perhaps think about household chores separately and school chores separately and bring the two together. Think about the age appropriate chores that your year 6 can do. Once you've, you know, established the chores and you've agreed the chores, it's important again to make it fair, to perhaps have some sort of structure. Have a timetable, something that's visual that your year 6 can see. So perhaps have a timetable that you can put on the fridge, perhaps a copy on the fridge for all to see and a copy in their bedroom. Then it's visual. They can have the days of the week and the different chores, a mixture of household and school chores, put into this timetable. And once you have that, let them be the driving force. Let them drive this timetable. So don't see the timetable as your timetable that you now use as a reminder for you to remind them to do the things on the timetable. Let them drive the timetable forward. You can, of course, say things like, "Oh, you've remembered to put your PE bag by the front door. You've remembered your violin. Well done." So again, praise, rewards. Oh, well done. Yep, well done. Oh, your bedroom. It was tidy every single day last week. You remembered to make your bed. So praise, rewards are always a good thing. So have that visual representation to make sure that you can move your child on with this journey to independence. Now, of course, everything that I've shared tonight isn't specific to year 6. Independence is something that we should be encouraging at any age. So, of course, I don't expect a year 3 student to necessarily be, as I said, washing the car or taking out the wheelie bin, but a year 3 student should be, for example, dressing themselves in the morning, ready for school. Our next episode will lead on nicely from this theme of independence. I'll be discussing problem solving and how to encourage your child to have a solution-focused mindset. See you then. Take care. Bye-bye.